Like a mountain in spring.
Right, yeah, up in that, yeah.
Like a walk in the rain.
Yeah.
Like John Denver.
That's Annie's song, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He does that song so fucking good. There's a live recording of them playing that in Colorado somewhere, Telluride or something. And he does it so fucking good.
What's that? Yes.
Hey,
Yeah, no, I know Annie.
Okay. Okay.
You ready?
I'll have
My friend in Colorado.
Okay.
One of them bar drinks. Yo.
Alright. She lives in Woody Creek, a little.
Woody Creek?
Yay!
I wonder if he was any relation
it's
to Bob Denver Gilligan.
Who's that? Where
I don't know. Could be.
Because Bob
Hunter
did
Thompson
Colorado
lives?
Cocky Mountain
Hunter
High.
Thompson was my neighbor when he did that. And the neighbors are, they've got ranches. So we go where we are, and you go through a thing, and there was a neighbor that was 5 or 6 miles away, and another neighbor, and Hunter Thompson.
No.
Yeah, there was a dog that he shot that crossed his yard,
Oh, yeah.
and he went out and shot it.
Oh.
Did you know him?
No, I never met him.
Where was that?
In Woody Creek. Yes. Oh, I was right in the fucking thick of it. Who's the guy for Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, wrote all their songs? I worked at the Great Divide Music Store in Aspen, and he'd come in, and the guy, he's not alive anymore now. That was, he'd come in and we'd have political discussions, and he was, what's his name? Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Anyway, he's got the curly. He's like, I don't know. He says, I think I might have to rethink my political fucking views. And there was one room in there that was maybe like 10 by 10. It might have been 15 feet long, but it was all. The cheapest guitar in there was probably $35,000. Wow. And once a month, Sandy Monroe, and you can look it up, he's gone now, and it was Great Divide Music Store, and somebody bought it, and a couple did, and they're doing something with it. But he'd say, another one of your jobs, he says, is every month we got to change the strings on those guitars, whether they've been played or not. So once a month, I got to go through every one of those fucking. Every one of those guitars.
Your guitar stringing prowess when
No,
we were changing.
but I got to play all those. It was so lovely.
Yeah.
And here I am. I grew up. You might as well have put a house over there. Isn't it wonderful where our lives lead us and the things that we experience? It's just fucking beautiful.
That's the way we learn.
I'm sorry. I think you.
Sir,
doing this means so much to me.
I don't know your name, but
John.
John. Oh, I could remember that. My whole family's name John. Bunch of Johns.
What's going on?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I just want to ask you, have you been to Hawaii?
No, man.
Because I'm looking at your shirt.
No.
Because I've been 5 times, but I wish I had that shirt. Let's see.
I have a close friend who grew up there.
Hawaii.
Woody Creek or Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
It's one unless you choose Hawaii, where it used to be that way. You can't go on. I have not been to Newhouse.
Hey, Greg.
How's Mike B?
I'm good. Tape rolling.
That's nice.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. That's very nice.
My way seem to be one and the same. I'm just going.
It's a good shirt.
I don't understand it. Wants to know where I've been. I'd have to be some kind of natural born fool that wanna pass that way again. You know I could be there. Walking down the country road. Going down the country road. Sail on home to Jesus, won't you, good girls and boys. All in pieces, you can have your own choice. And I can see a heavenly band full of angels coming to set me free. about the why or the when. I can tell you that it's bound to be, because I could feel it. Walking down a country road. I know my feet know where they want me to go. Walking down the country road.
Now, were you in Woody Creek for Hunter's funeral? Where they shot him off in a rocket or something?
Oh no, I didn't. But I went to the dog's funeral.
Oh, okay.
The one he killed like at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Because it was on his yard. He got sick of it in Colorado.
Right.
You know, Scotty owns this property here.
Yeah.
He owns halfway out into the fucking river.
Oh yeah.
And if he buys the property on the other side of the river, he owns that.
Okay.
And they're just
Right.
small rivers. They're not like this. And you got to get your bucket. You got to take your boat. You can't fish in there. You can't go in that part of the river. You own the land underneath it.
Huh. But he can't block the water. Yeah, you can go through
Oh
it. Can't you?
no! Sorry.
Can't
Well,
go
I
through
don't.
it
Sorry.
either. Wow.
No, that's water. Is you have no.
Is that in Bobert's district? What's it, the crazy
Pitkin
woman?
County. No. It's been like that forever.
Western Colorado?
No, it's on the western slope. Aspen. It's right on. There's Vale,
Yeah.
then the Continental Divide, the Glenwood Canyon, and then the western slope starts. And Vale's on this side of the peak, and Aspen and Glenwood Springs, Carbondale, Basalt, all these little Woody Creek, they're all
Yeah.
up in Aspen. They're on the other side of it.
The only place I've been to is Breckenridge in Colorado.
I was there. You know who I was there for? What was his name? McMillan, maybe? His father was the mayor of Saginaw at one point.
Oh.
But he lived in Breckenridge at 12,000 feet. I don't know if you guys know what 12,000 feet. They say, oh, it takes a few days to acclimate to altitude. I went up on the backside of Aspen Mountain. We went up where you see them come down on the for the
steep slope
World
in there?
Cup stuff. Well, right over the top of that, my buddy, they had a cabin, and you parked and then you walked down to the cabin, and they had AstroTurf on the top of this cabin, and it's rustic. So you walk down, and they had their hot tub was a horse trough with a wood fucking burner thing in it. You get in there, and I stood on the edge of it in October. The roof of the cabin went out to there, and there's AstroTurf, and I stood, and the bowl at Aspen Mountain is 3,000 feet. It's like the highest, the farthest vertical. And I stood on the edge of that, and I put my hands up in the air doing mushrooms. And I just looked down over that fucker, and I was like, oh, and there's nobody else around. It's just me and the two other guys, but they're not even paying any attention to me.
Right.
So I go to sleep, and they're under this thing, and I get up in the bunk and top of it, this little cabin that just built into the fucking hillside. The guy that owned it was from California. I think he was probably a drug dealer at one point or something. But he'd go to Bali in the fucking winter or summer, whenever the waves were big. He did.
Right.
And I couldn't breathe. It's like I feel now when I need to do my inhaler.
Right.
And I sat up. I can remember I sat up, and they've lived there for years.
Oh.
The one guy I was with was a cyclist. He was sponsored by Sears or something. He was sponsored by yeah. And he'd get up in the morning, be gone for a few hours. He'd come home, and I said, how'd you? He said, I didn't do bad. I did 100 miles today. In the fucking mountains. I don't know if you guys know what that.
Yeah.
And I sat
Whereas
up.
me,
And,
I'm thinking about it.
I sat up and I was almost panicking. And then I thought, well, you can't call 911 up here. I mean,
Yeah.
and they're snoring. And I really had to gather
So how
myself.
far is that from Durango? Not far, is it?
Durango's south of it.
Do you know, Mike? You're a man of the
Durango's
world.
in,
No.
yeah, it's high desert. I don't know, I'm sorry, am I babbling too much?
My,
No,
I have a
very
friend that lives
interesting.
out there. And the quote, I remember them saying, you know, if there's a heaven and earth on earth, Durango, Colorado, I guess it's just beautiful. I went through there once, but I think I was too high to remember.
I haven't been. I don't recall going to Durango. I've been to Aspen, and to my daughter lived in. They lived near Denver. Can't right now think of the name of the town, but they were outside of Denver because he went and got it. My son-in-law went and finished his master's degree at. What's the popular city there? It's a real college town.
Yeah, it's Air Force, it's military,
Yeah, but it's a real popular
my dentist
hippie town.
husband. Yeah.
That's where he went and got his master's at that university,
Yeah.
wherever that town is.
Yeah.
And then they rent it in a suburb, beautiful home.
Fire Grill, yeah.
But so I haven't really been all through Colorado. But I've heard of Durango.
I can't believe that I did it, but I didn't. It was, I don't know, you guys.
I think if I had liked to start over again,